I'm so sorry to distract you, but I tried very hard to create this video. Watch till the end and enjoy.
The cold mud felt like solid ice on my broken skin. I opened my eyes and looked at the dark sky above me. My human life was a sad joke, and my death was cruel. Now I am a wild dog with 2 dead heads on my neck. They hang like heavy stones and drag me into the dirt. The giant alpha wolf hates me and beats me every day. I am weak, but a blue system screen appeared before me. It told me I am a rare demon, and my heads can awake. I must feed them the fresh, warm blood of my enemies. If I do this, I will gain the magic of 3 elements. Poison and fire and ice will become my true weapons. I coughed and spat out the foul-tasting cold gray mud. My living head let out a very pathetic and weak whine. This was my new reality in this brutal and dark world. I used to be a human, but now I am just a deformed dog. My past life was full of endless pain and deep sorrow. I worked hard every day, but nobody ever noticed me. The boss always took my ideas and called them his own. When I finally complained, he fired me without any pity. I walked home in the rain and a huge truck hit me. My human body was crushed and I died a very sad death. But the universe decided to give me a rare new chance. I woke up in this dark forest as a 3-headed beast, but 2 of my heads were dry and completely dead now. They were just useless weights that caused me pain. The local wolf pack found me and took me in as a joke. The alpha was a giant black wolf with scary red eyes. He hated my deformed body and beat me without any pity. I was not allowed to eat any fresh meat from the hunt. I survived by eating scraps and chewing on old bones. My stomach was always empty and my ribs showed clearly. I wanted to give up and die, but a strange thing came. A glowing blue screen appeared right in front of me. It was a magical system that only I could clearly see. The system told me that I was a rare demon Cerberus. My 2 dead heads were not broken, but simply asleep. I needed to feed them the fresh blood of my enemies. If I did this, they would wake up and give me power. The left head held the absolute power of deadly poison. The right head held the destructive power of wildfire. My living middle head would master the cold ice magic. I just needed to find a weak enemy to start my hunt. But I was so weak that even a small rat could beat me. I sighed and rested my heavy head on my dirty paws. Suddenly, a sweet scent reached my sensitive, wet nose. I looked up and saw a beautiful silver fox walk to me. Her name was Luna, and she was the healer of our pack. She was the only creature who ever showed me any mercy. Luna dropped a small piece of fresh rabbit meat for me. I ate it quickly and wagged my tail to show my thanks. She licked my bruised head and whispered a soft bark. Her healing magic flowed into me and eased my pain. I promised myself that I would protect her very soon. Luna heard the alpha howling and quickly ran to hide. I was left alone in the dark woods to face my fate. I closed my eyes and focused on the blue system screen. It showed my current stats, and they were very terrible. My strength was level 1, and my speed was very awful. But my true potential was ranked as triple S class now. I just needed to survive the early stages of my life. I stood up and sniffed the cold night air very slowly. There was a faint smell of sweat and dirty, rusty metal. A small green goblin was hiding in the dark bushes. He had a sharp knife and looked very dangerous to me. I used my small body to hide in the tall green grass. The goblin did not see me waiting in the dark shadows. I crept forward with my belly touching the wet, cold mud. My living head kept a sharp lookout for sudden traps. The dead heads dragged along the ground without a sound. I waited for the perfect moment to launch my big attack. The goblin turned his back to me and looked at the moon. I jumped out and bit his leg with all my hidden might. The goblin screamed in pain and dropped his bad knife. I tasted his foul blood and felt a strange, warm spark. My left dead head twitched for the very first time now. The system confirmed my first successful kill softly. A green light filled my vision and blinded me a bit. The poison element was finally waking up inside me. I felt a huge surge of power flowing through my veins. The dead goblin tasted bad, but I drank all his blood. My left head opened its dry eyes and looked around me. It was still weak, but it was no longer totally dead. I smiled and showed my bloody teeth to the dark woods. This was my first victory in this cruel new world. I will never be a pathetic loser like I was before. Suddenly the bushes rustled and a huge shadow appeared. The alpha wolf stepped out and glared at me with hate. He saw the dead goblin and growled in deep, dark anger. He did not want a weak pup to steal his hunting glory. The giant wolf lunged at me with his huge, sharp fangs. I tried to dodge, but my heavy dead head slowed me. His teeth grazed my shoulder and tore my flesh open. I fell to the dirty ground and let out a cry of pain. The alpha prepared to deliver the final killing bite, but a silver flash jumped between us and stopped him. It was Luna, the silver fox, with beautiful glowing fur. She barked at the alpha and pushed him back fiercely. The giant wolf snorted and decided to leave us alone. He knew Luna was protected by the elder of our pack. Luna turned to me and gently licked my bleeding wound. Her healing magic felt warm and soothed my deep pain. I looked into her kind eyes and made a silent vow. I will protect her when I become the true demon king. My left head hissed softly and dripped green poison. The journey has just begun and I am ready for the war. I watched the giant alpha wolf vanish into the shadows. His heavy footsteps faded away into the silent night. Luna sat beside me and kept a close watch on the trees. I felt a deep bond forming between us in this dark place. She did not care that I was a deformed and ugly beast. She saw the hidden potential inside my small, weak body. I rested my living head against her soft, warm silver fur. The system screen popped up again with a new message. My poison head had reached the very first magic level. I could now spit a small drop of deadly acid venom. It was not much, but it was a start toward true power. I needed to hunt more goblins to feed my hungry heads. The right head was still completely dry and very dead. It needed the blood of a fire monster to wake up fully. I imagined breathing wild flames and burning my foes. The alpha wolf will pay for all the pain he caused me. I will melt his dark fur and crush his heavy bones. But for now, I must be smart and hide my growing power. I closed my eyes and let the healing magic do its work. The wound on my shoulder slowly closed and stopped bleeding. Luna nudged my side and told me to stand up right now. We needed to move before more monsters found the body. The smell of goblin blood would attract dark beasts. I forced my tired legs to carry my heavy, awkward body. My left head felt a little lighter than it did before. It looked around with dull eyes and hissed at the wind. We walked deeper into the thick and dangerous dark woods. The moon provided a little light through the tall trees. I stayed close to Luna and followed her silver tail. She knew all the safe paths in this deadly wild forest. We reached a small hidden cave near a fast-running stream. This was her secret shelter away from the cruel pack. She invited me inside and gave me a dry place to sleep. I curled up on a bed of soft moss and closed my eyes. The system interface glowed faintly in my dark mind. I reviewed my stats and planned my next hunting move. I needed to increase my speed and my biting strength. Tomorrow I will find another lone goblin to ambush. I will drain its blood and feed my growing poison core. The memory of my human life faded away into the dark. I am no longer a weak clerk who takes orders from fools. I am a demon Cerberus, and I will conquer this whole world. Morning came, and the bright sun warmed the cold cave. Luna was already awake and grooming her beautiful fur. She looked at my left head and tilted her head slowly. She noticed that the dry eyes were now slightly open. I wagged my tail and showed her my new green poison fang. She backed away a little bit, but then smiled at me. She understood that I was getting stronger every day. We left the cave and went to drink from the cold stream. The water was fresh and washed away the taste of blood. I looked at my reflection in the clear running water. I was still a skinny pup with 3 mismatched ugly heads. But there was a new dark fire burning in my bright eyes. I heard a loud horn blowing in the distance very clearly. The goblin tribe was marching through the dark, wild woods. They were looking for their missing scout from last night. This was a great danger, but also a perfect chance for me. I could isolate one of them and drink his fresh blood. Luna looked worried and told me to stay hidden today. But I shook my head and growled with pure determination. I cannot hide forever if I want to become a true king. I must take big risks to gain the massive system rewards. I sneaked away from the stream and ran toward the noise. The system gave me a new quest to kill 3 goblins. The reward was a massive boost to my base physical stats. I hid behind a large oak tree and watched the dirt path. A group of 5 ugly goblins marched in a messy line. They carried rusty swords and heavy wooden spiked clubs. I waited patiently for the last one to fall behind them. He was fat and lazy and walked very slowly on the path. I activated my new poison skill and coated my sharp fangs. The green acid hissed and melted a small drop of saliva. I lunged from the bushes and bit his thick green ankle. The poison entered his blood and made his leg go numb. He tried to shout, but the acid paralyzed his vocal cords. He fell to the ground and dropped his heavy wooden club. I jumped on his chest and bit his ugly, green, dirty throat. The other goblins did not hear his silent, dying struggle. I drank his warm blood and felt my left head grow strong. The system chimed and gave me my promised stat points. I felt my muscles bulge and my weak bones become hard. I was no longer a helpless pup waiting for certain death. I dragged the dead body into the bushes to hide the kill. I wiped the blood from my mouth and smiled in the dark. 2 more goblins to go before I complete the system quest. I moved through the shadows like a silent, deadly ghost. The poison in my veins made me feel alive and very fast. I spotted the next target standing near a large gray rock. He was peeing on a tree and had his back turned to me. I did not hesitate and leaped directly at his bare neck. My teeth sank deep and the poison did its deadly work. He died instantly, without making a single loud sound. I drank his blood and let the system absorb his energy. My left head snapped its jaws and hissed with pure joy. The poison element was growing faster than I expected. I only needed 1 more kill to finish my bloody task. The remaining 3 goblins realized someone was missing. They grouped together and held their rusty swords high. They looked around the dark woods with fear in their eyes. I couldn't ambush them easily while they were together. I needed a smart distraction to break their tight group. I picked up a small stone with my mouth and threw it far. It hit a tree and made a loud cracking noise in the dark. The goblins jumped and turned toward the sudden sharp sound. 2 of them walked away to check the dark, empty bushes. The leader stayed behind and guarded the main dirt path. This was my golden chance to strike the final, fatal blow. I sneaked up behind the leader and prepared my poison bite. But suddenly a loud howl echoed through the silent woods. The alpha wolf had tracked my scent and found me here. He burst through the bushes and looked at the goblin boss. The goblin screamed and swung his rusty sword at the wolf. The alpha dodged and bit the goblin right in half. Blood sprayed everywhere and the alpha roared in anger. He turned his glowing red eyes toward my hiding spot. He knew I was there and he wanted to kill me right now. I was trapped between the giant wolf and the angry goblins. My system screen flashed red with a deadly warning sign. The alpha was a level 20 beast and I was only level 2. I could not fight him and win in my current weak state. I needed to run, but my heavy dead head slowed my speed. The alpha charged at me with his mouth wide open to bite. I closed my eyes and prepared for the painful final blow. But then a wall of solid ice erupted from the cold ground. It blocked the Alpha and gave me a chance to escape now. I looked back and saw Luna standing on a high gray rock. Her eyes were glowing with a powerful ancient silver magic. She had followed me and decided to risk her life for me. The Alpha smashed the ice wall and roared at the wild fox. He was furious that she defied his absolute pack orders. He ignored me and ran toward Luna with pure dark murder. I could not run away and leave her to die for my sake. I felt a strange heat building inside my right dead head. The system screen suddenly flashed with a bright gold light. A hidden fire core was reacting to my deep burning anger. If I want to save her, I must awaken the fire right now. I let out a loud roar that shook the entire dark forest. The giant wolf stopped and looked at my burning head. My right eye opened, and a bright red flame shot out. The hot fire hit his dark fur, and he yelled in pain. He rolled in the cold dirt to stop the wild flames. I felt the system give me a brand new magic ability. My firehead was finally awake and ready for battle. The alpha wolf stood up and glared at me with anger. He was burned badly, but he was still a strong beast. He knew he could not win this fight in the dark now. The cowardly wolf turned around and ran away quickly. I fell to the dirty ground and took a very deep breath. My 3 heads were heavy, but I felt very proud today. Luna walked up to me and rubbed her head on my chest. Her silver fur was soft and smelled like fresh spring. She used her healing magic to fix my broken, torn skin. I looked at my system screen to check my new rewards. I gained a massive boost to my strength and my speed. My poison head could now spit a large pool of venom. My fire head could shoot a ball of very bright heat. My middle head was still waiting for the cold magic. I needed to hunt more enemies to grow my new empire. I was a human clerk before, but now I am a demon king. I will never let anyone bully me in this cruel world. Luna and I walked away from the bloody battleground. We needed to find a safe place to rest for the night. The goblin camp was very close to our hiding spot now. I wanted to attack them and steal all their supplies. I used my old human brain to plan a smart, deep trap. A direct fight would be very risky for my tired body. I told Luna to wait behind a large, gray, ancient rock. I crawled through the tall green grass very silently. The goblin camp had a big fire burning in the center. 4 ugly green goblins were eating a dead wild boar. They also had a large wooden cage near the dirty tent. A huge brown bear was locked inside the wooden prison. The bear looked very sad and had many deep red cuts. I decided to free the bear and make him my new ally. A demon king needs a strong, loyal army to rule well. I moved closer to the cage and hid in the dark shade. One goblin stood up and walked toward my hiding spot. He wanted to grab some more dry wood for the hot fire. I waited for him to come very close to my sharp teeth. My left head opened its jaws and spat a green poison. The acid hit his ugly face and melted his green skin. He fell down and died before he could make a loud cry. I dragged his heavy dead body into the dark, cold bush. My system absorbed his foul blood and gave me points. I felt my poison magic grow a little bit stronger now. I sneaked to the cage and looked at the big brown bear. The bear opened his sad eyes and saw my 3 heads. He did not growl because he sensed my deep, dark power. I used my sharp claws to break the weak wooden lock. The door opened, and the giant bear stepped out slowly. I looked into his eyes and offered him a silent deal. He bowed his heavy head and accepted my true command. I gained my very first loyal soldier for my new army. The system screen gave me a special leader title now. It was time to kill the rest of the ugly green guards. I told the bear to attack the goblins from the right. I would attack them from the left with my bright fire. The bear roared loudly and charged at the bright fire. The 3 goblins jumped up and grabbed their weapons. They were very scared of the huge, angry brown monster. They did not see me running from the dark, blind spot. My right head gathered a large amount of hot red fire. I shot a fireball at the goblin holding a rusty sword. The fire hit his chest and burned him to a crisp now. He screamed in pain and fell into the hot campfire. The bear smashed the second goblin with his heavy paw. The last goblin tried to run away into the dark woods. I used my poison head to spit a fast green acid drop. The poison hit his leg and made him fall in the dirt. I walked up to him and looked at his ugly, scared face. I remembered how my boss used to yell at me every day. I hated people who abused their power over weak folks. I bit his neck and ended his miserable life right now. The system chimed and gave me a massive amount of exp. I leveled up, and my body grew a little bit bigger now. My 3 heads looked very scary and extremely deadly. The giant bear sat down and licked his big red paws. Luna came out of hiding and walked into the warm camp. She looked at the dead goblins and smiled at my face. We found a large pile of fresh meat in the ugly tent. I let the bear eat the biggest piece of the wild boar. A true king always feeds his loyal soldiers very well. I ate a large chunk of meat and felt my energy return. My firehead was fully awake and ready for any battle. We rested by the warm fire and planned our next moves. I stared at the glowing blue system screen in the air. The text was written in a sharp glowing silver font. It showed my new stats and my growing magic abilities. My base strength had reached level 5 very quickly. My speed was level 4, and my magic was at level 10. The poison head gave me a passive toxic bite ability. The fire head gave me a passive heat shield for armor. My middle head was still waiting for the ice to awake. I needed to find a strong ice monster to kill for it. I closed the screen and looked at my sleeping friends. Luna was curled up next to the giant brown heavy bear. They trusted me to keep them safe in this deadly wild. I walked to the edge of the camp to test my new magic. I focused my mind on the right head and felt the heat. A small ball of red fire formed in my open, sharp jaws. I spat the fireball at a large, dead tree far away now. The fire hit the dry wood and exploded with a loud pop. The tree burned brightly and turned into black ashes. I smiled and felt a deep sense of pride in my soul. In my past life, I could not even light a wet match. I was a weak loser who always followed the dumb rules. Now I have the power to destroy anything in my path. I tested my poison head next and spat a green acid. The acid hit a gray rock and melted a deep hole in it. The toxic fumes smelled like rotten eggs and cold mud. I had 2 deadly weapons and a smart human brain now. I walked back to the camp and lay down near the fire. I closed my eyes and let my tired body get some sleep. The next morning, I woke up to a loud, strange noise. Luna was barking and the bear was growling very loud. I jumped up and saw a new group of foes in the camp. 10 large, dark wolves stood at the edge of the trees. They were sent by the giant Alpha to hunt me down now. The leader of this pack was a nasty, gray-scarred wolf. He looked at my 3 heads and laughed very loudly. He thought I was just a freak of nature meant to die. He did not know about my deadly magic system powers. I stepped forward and stood in front of my loyal pack. I was not a scared little pup running from a fight. I am a demon king, and I will protect my own territory. The gray wolf sneered and ordered his pack to attack. 5 wolves charged at me with their sharp teeth bare. I did not panic because I had a perfect tactical plan. I told the giant bear to block the right side firmly. I told Luna to use her silver magic from the back row. I stood in the middle and prepared my 2 magic heads. The first wolf jumped at my throat with a loud growl. I used my fire head and shot a blast of hot red flame. The fire hit his face and blinded him completely now. He crashed into the dirt and cried in pure, deep agony. The second wolf tried to bite my weak back left leg. I spun around and bit his neck with my poison fangs. The green acid entered his blood and killed him fast. 2 wolves were dead in just a few short bloody ticks. The other 3 wolves stopped and looked at me badly. They realized I was a very dangerous and deadly beast. The gray leader yelled at them to keep fighting me. He ran forward to join the bloody, violent, wild battle. The giant bear roared and smashed a wolf with his paw. The heavy blow broke the wolf's spine with a loud crack. Luna shot a beam of silver light at another dark wolf. The magic light burned his dark fur and made him blind. My team was working perfectly and winning the big war. I faced the gray leader and showed him my sharp teeth. He was fast and dodged my first hot red fire attack. He bit my right shoulder and tore a piece of my flesh. I felt a sharp pain, but I did not let it stop my plan. I used my middle head to bite his long gray hairy ear. I held him close so my poison head could strike true. I injected a massive dose of green venom in his neck. The gray wolf choked and let go of my bleeding skin. He stumbled back and fell to the cold, hard dirt path. His body twitched, and his eyes turned completely white. The remaining wolves saw their strong leader die fast. They turned their tails and ran away into the shadows. We won the battle and defended our new safe home camp. I looked at the system screen and saw a golden message. I had leveled up again and earned a new special title. The title was called the Ruthless Young Demon Leader. It gave my allies a huge boost to their defense stats. Luna and the bear glowed with a soft, warm, pure light. They felt the new power and bowed their heads to me. I was building a true empire from the dirty, cold mud. I sat down and let Luna heal my bleeding shoulder cut. Her silver magic felt very cool and stopped the pain. I looked at the dead wolves and felt no pity for them. In this brutal world, only the strong and smart live. I will use their bodies to feed my growing magic core. I dragged the dead gray leader to the center of camp. I drank his warm blood and felt my muscles grow large. My middle head drank some blood and felt a cold chill. The ice element was finally starting to wake up now. I needed a much stronger enemy to unlock the cold ice. The giant alpha wolf was the perfect target for this. He was a powerful beast with a lot of dark, cold magic. I knew he would come for me himself very soon anyway. He could not ignore the death of his loyal gray scout. I had to prepare my small army for the final big war. We spent the rest of the day cleaning the dirty camp. I found a shiny gold ring inside a messy goblin tent. The system scanned the ring and showed its true stats. It was a magic item that increased my mana pool size. I could not wear it on my paw, so I ate it completely. The system ate the ring and gave me the magic power. My mana bar grew twice as large in a single fast beat. I could now shoot 10 fireballs before getting tired. This was a huge advantage for the upcoming bloody war. I told the giant bear his new name would be Big Tank. Tank grunted happily and ate another large, dirty bone. Luna sat next to me and watched the bright, warm fire. I looked at her silver fur and felt a very deep peace. She was the perfect partner for a rising demon king. She was smart and brave and had amazing healing magic. I remembered my old lover from my very dark past life. She left me when I lost my boring corporate desk job. She only cared about money and high social status now. Luna was special because she loved my true inner soul. She stayed with me when I was just a weak, ugly loser. I will make her the true queen of my new dark empire. I rested my 3 heads on my big, dirty front paws. The night was quiet and full of bright, shining stars. I used this calm time to plan my next tactical moves. We needed to build traps around our new forest camp. The alpha wolf would bring his entire huge dark pack. I woke up early the next day to dig many deep holes. Tank used his massive claws to move heavy gray rocks. We placed the rocks at the edge of the dark tree line. This created a narrow path for the enemy to walk down. I used my poison head to fill the deep pits with acid. Any wolf that stepped in the trap would die right now. Luna used magic to hide the holes with dry, dead grass. We worked hard all day to make the camp a fortress. The system rewarded my smart tactical human planning. I gained a new passive skill called the Trap Master. This skill made my poison traps deal double damage. I felt very confident in my strong defensive setup. Suddenly, the ground started to shake very violently. A massive dark shadow blocked the bright yellow sun. It was not the alpha wolf, but a giant black spider. The giant spider had 8 red, glowing, very ugly eyes. It smelled the dead wolves and came to eat the bodies. This was a level 15 boss from the deep, dark cave. My system screen flashed red with a critical warning. I told Tank and Luna to stay back and hide right now. This was a perfect test for my growing magic strength. I stepped into the narrow path and roared at the bug. The spider hissed and spat a huge web of sticky silk. I dodged to the left and shot a hot, bright red flame. The fire burned the web and hit the spider on the leg. The monster shrieked and charged at me with big fangs. I ran backward and let it right into my deadly trap. The spider stepped on the hidden pit filled with acid. Its heavy leg fell in, and the green poison melted it. The spider fell to the dirt and cried in massive pain. I jumped on its back and used my poison head to bite. I injected all my toxic venom into its ugly big brain. The giant spider stopped moving and died very quickly. I stood on its dead body and let out a huge, loud roar. The system flooded my eyes with golden light messages. I gained 3 whole levels from this single epic win. My middle head felt a very strong and freezing cold. The ice core was reacting to the massive boss energy. A blue aura covered my living head and froze the air. I opened my mouth and breathed a stream of pure frost. The dead spider body turned into a solid block of ice. I had finally awakened all 3 of my magic elements. I was a true triple threat demon in this dark wild. Luna ran to me and barked with pure joy and deep awe. Tank pounded his chest and roared to celebrate my win. I felt invincible and ready to conquer this dark land. But my joy was cut short by a loud howl in the dark. The alpha wolf had finally arrived with his huge army. 50 dark wolves stood at the edge of my hidden camp. They looked at the frozen spider and stopped in fear. The alpha stepped out and glared at me with pure hate. The alpha stepped out and glared at me with pure hate. He looked at the frozen spider and felt a deep dread. His 50 wolves stood behind him in the dark woods. They saw my 3 heads and whined like little pups. I smiled with all 3 of my heads at the same time. My middle head breathed a cold cloud of white ice. The system screen flashed with a bright golden light. It told me to defeat the alpha and claim his big pack. This was the perfect chance to prove my massive power. I remembered how he beat me when I was a tiny pup. He was just like my old boss in my past human life. They both loved to hurt folks who could not fight. I am no longer a weak clerk hiding behind a desk. I am a demon king, and I will break his heavy bones. The giant alpha wolf barked a very loud, angry yell. He told his dark wolves to attack me from every side, but his pack did not move an inch in the cold dirt. They were terrified of my giant brown bear named Tank. They were scared of Luna and her bright silver magic. Most of all, they feared my 3 deadly magic heads. The alpha realized he was losing control of his pack. He growled and stepped into the narrow path of camp. He wanted to kill me quickly to show his dark power. I laughed a deep, scary laugh with my cold ice head. I told Tank to stay back and watch this grand fight. I told Luna to save her magic for a bigger threat. This was a personal duel between me and my old abuser. The alpha charged at me with his red eyes glowing. He used a dark magic skill to move like a fast shadow. He vanished from my sight and appeared right behind me. His huge jaws opened to bite my weak back left leg. But I was ready for his dirty coward sneak attack. My right head shot a fire blast at the cold ground. The explosion pushed me forward and away from his bite. The alpha bit the empty air and chipped his teeth. I spun around and used my left head to spit green acid. The poison hit his front paw and burned his dark skin. He howled in pain and limped backward on 3 legs. His pack watched him fail and they started to whine. I walked toward him slowly to show my confidence. The system gave me a notification about his health bar. His total health was dropping very fast from poison. I wanted to humiliate him in front of his entire army. I wanted them to see that he was just a weak old fool. The alpha tried to use his dark magic to heal his paw, but my poison was a rare demon tier magic ability now. It blocked his healing and made the pain much worse. He looked at me with pure terror in his red eyes. He knew he could not defeat me in a fair big battle. He yelled at his elite guards to come and help him. 4 large beta wolves ran forward to save their boss. They were fast and strong, but they were also very dumb. They forgot about the deep pits I dug earlier this day. The first beta wolf stepped on the hidden grass cover. He fell into the deep hole filled with green poison. He melted into a pile of bones in a few short seconds. The second wolf tried to jump over the deadly pit. Tank stepped forward and swung his massive brown paw. The bear smashed the wolf in the air with brutal force. The wolf crashed into a tree and broke his heavy spine. The last 2 beta wolves stopped and shivered in fear. Luna used her silver magic to blind their dark eyes. They ran in circles and crashed into each other now. My middle head breathed a thick stream of freezing ice. The cold magic hit the 2 wolves and froze them solid. They became 2 shiny ice statues in the dark camp. The 50 wolves gasped in a very deep, sudden shock. I defeated the elite guards without taking any hit. My tactical human brain was my ultimate secret weapon. The alpha wolf was left completely alone in the dirt. He was bleeding and shivering and looking pathetic. I walked right up to him and looked down at his face. I was much bigger than him thanks to my high level. I forced him to look at my 3 scary magic heads. You used to beat me for fun when I was a tiny pup. You stole my food and made me sleep in the cold mud. You thought I would die like a loser in this wild. But I survived and I grew stronger than you could. Now you will bow to me and beg for your sad life. The alpha wolf was too proud to submit to a young pup. He gathered the last of his dark magic for a hit. His body turned into a giant cloud of black smoke. He tried to enter my lungs and destroy me from inside. This was his ultimate hidden skill named Dark Bite. But I had a perfect counter for his shadow magic. I inhaled deeply with my right head and swallowed him. The fire core inside my chest ignited with a huge glow. I burned the dark smoke inside my own strong lungs. The alpha screamed as my fire roasted his sad soul. I coughed and spat him out onto the cold dirt path. He returned to his physical form, but he was burned bad. His dark fur was gone, and his skin was pink and ruined. He looked like a giant naked rat crying in the mud. The public humiliation was truly complete today. His pack looked at him with absolute sheer disgust. They only respect pure strength in this wild wood. Their old leader was a weak, naked rat begging pity. I placed my heavy right paw on his burned, sad head. I looked at the 50 wolves and gave a loud, deep roar. The sound echoed through the dark trees and rocks. The 50 wolves instantly dropped to their bellies. They bowed their heads to the new absolute demon king. The system screen exploded with many golden sparks. I received a massive amount of experience for this win. My level jumped from level 5 to level 10 instantly. All my base stats doubled in a single fast heartbeat. My 3 heads grew larger and my sharp teeth grew. My body grew thick black and red hard plates of armor. I was no longer a dog but a true monster of doom. The system gave me a new special skill named Pack Lord. I could now command any wolf in the woods with my mind. I looked down at the naked alpha shivering near me. He was crying and asking me to spare his pathetic life. I thought about showing him mercy for just 1 second. But a true demon king does not leave enemies alive. They will always try to stab you in the back later on. I learned this hard lesson in the human business world. I used my middle head to bite his neck and freeze him. His body turned into a solid ice block in a flash. I crushed the ice block with my heavy armored big paw. He broke into 1,000 tiny cold pieces of shiny ice. The wind blew his ice dust away into the dark wood. My revenge was finally complete, and my heart light. Luna ran up to me and wagged her beautiful silver tail. She was so proud of my epic victory over the leader. I nudged her soft cheek with my warm, living big head. Tank, the brown bear, roared and beat his heavy chest. The 50 wolves joined him and howled at the big moon. I was the absolute ruler of this entire dark, wild zone. I ordered the wolves to clean up the messy, bloody camp. They worked fast and dragged the dead bodies far away. I sat down on a large, flat gray rock to check stats. The system screen hovered in the air like a ghost. My health and mana bars were huge and full of magic. My poison head could shoot a massive cloud of gas. My fire head could make a huge wall of hot, bright fire. My ice head could make sharp spears of solid ice. I was a walking natural disaster waiting to happen. I knew I could not get lazy and stop my daily work. There were giant monsters hiding in the dark peaks. The system gave me a new large quest to do right away. I needed to build a big stone castle for my loyal army. A demon king cannot live in a dirty camp made of mud. I needed thick walls to protect my friends from danger. I called Tank over and gave him a very important job. He was the strongest builder in my huge monster army. I told him to fetch big gray rocks from the river. He nodded his heavy brown head and walked away happily. I assigned the 50 wolves to hunt for fresh meat. They needed to feed my growing army of loyal pets. Luna stayed by my side and helped me plan the fort. She used her magic to draw a map in the cold dirt. We designed a safe base with many hidden deadly traps. I felt a deep connection to her as we worked together. She was not just a healer, but a very smart tactician. In my past life, my human girlfriend never helped me. She only complained about my lack of money and success. Luna was special because she believed in my true soul. I promised myself to make her the happiest fox alive. The day passed quickly as we gathered many gray rocks. By sunset, we built a thick stone wall around the camp. It was not a castle yet, but it was a very good start. I stood on top of the wall and looked at my new realm. The wolves were resting safe behind the thick stones. Tank was sleeping deep near the warm, bright red fire. Luna sat next to me and watched the dark, silent woods. I felt a sense of true peace for the first time ever. But I knew this calm silence would not last very long. The system screen suddenly flashed with a red warning. A new dangerous enemy was entering my dark wild zone. I looked up at the tall gray mountains in the dark. A massive pillar of bright golden light hit the sky. This was not a wild monster or a dumb green goblin. This was the magic signature of a human hero party. The humans from the Holy Church had finally found me. They hunt demons and kill them for glory and gold. I remembered the cruel humans from my old, sad past. They are greedy and selfish, and they ruin everything. I will not let them take my home and my good friends. I growled loudly, and all three of my heads sparked. The ice and fire and poison mixed together in the air. I am the Demon King, and I will crush the human heroes. I jumped down from the stone wall and landed heavily. The ground shook under my new thick armored iron feet. I walked to the center of the camp and called my army. The 50 wolves woke up and stood at total attention. Tank grabbed a huge wooden log to use as a heavy club. Luna stood by my side and prepared her silver magic. I used my new Pack Lord's skill to speak into their minds. I told them that human invaders were coming right now. I told them we must defend our home with our very lives. The wolves growled and showed their sharp white teeth. They were ready to die for their new strong demon king. I opened my system menu to check my new magic upgrades. I spent my stat points to increase my physical defense. I wanted my armor plates to be strong as solid steel. The golden light in the sky was getting very close now. I could hear the sound of heavy metal boots marching. There were 5 humans walking down the mountain path. The leader was a tall knight in shiny silver armor. He carried a massive sword that glowed with holy light. Next to him was a female mage in a long blue silk robe. She held a wooden staff with a bright blue magic gem. There was a rogue hiding in the shadows with 2 knives. A large bald priest carried a heavy golden holy cross. The last member was an archer with a long wooden bow. This was a standard hero party from the human kingdom. They looked very confident and arrogant in their walk. They thought they were hunting a simple wild beast. They did not know I was a reincarnated human soul. I knew all of their basic battle tactics and weak spots. The knight will try to block my attacks with his shield. The mage will cast spells from a very safe distance. The priest will heal them and buff their base stats. The rogue will try to sneak behind me for a fatal hit. The archer will shoot arrows at my 3 magic heads. I quickly formed a brilliant plan to destroy them all. I ordered Tank to charge directly at the knight now. The bear was big enough to match the human pure strength. I ordered 20 wolves to hunt down the sneaky rogue. I ordered 30 wolves to surround the human archer. Luna would focus her magic on blocking the blue mage. I would deal with the annoying bald priest right away. If the healer dies, the rest of the party will fall fast. The humans reached the edge of my new stone camp wall. The knight stopped and looked at the thick gray rocks. He seemed surprised to see a fort in the wild woods. He raised his glowing sword and shouted a loud command. He told his party to prepare for a major boss battle. I walked out of the camp gate and stood in the dirt. I let them see my massive, armored, 3-headed body. The female mage gasped and dropped her magic blue book. The archer took a step back and swallowed very hard. The knight gripped his shiny sword with shaking hands. They had never seen a demon Cerberus in this forest. The system scanned the knight and showed his true level. He was level 15 and had very high holy defense, but I was level 10 and I had 3 rare magic cores. I roared and unleashed a massive wave of dark energy. The battle for my new home and my life had just begun. I shot a huge fireball directly at the tall knight. He raised his silver shield to block the hot red fire. The flames hit the shield and melted the shiny metal. He yelled in pain and dropped the heavy ruined shield. Tank charged forward and swung his giant wooden club. The club hit the knight in the chest with a loud crack. The knight flew backward and crashed into a dark tree. The rogue tried to sneak behind me in the dark shadows, but my 20 wolves smelled his dirty human sweat. They jumped on him and bit his arms and his weak legs. He screamed and dropped his 2 sharp metal knives. The archer pulled his bowstring and aimed at my face, but 30 wolves rushed him and knocked him down fast. He could not shoot a single arrow in the wild chaos. The female mage started to chant a very long ice spell. Luna shot a beam of silver light at the blue magic gem. The gem shattered and the spell exploded in her face. The mage fell to the ground covered in dark black soot. The bald priest panicked and held up his golden cross. He started to pray for a holy miracle from his god. I ran toward him and activated my deadly poison head. I spat a thick cloud of toxic green gas at his face. He choked on the acid and dropped his heavy gold cross. His skin turned purple and he fell into the cold mud. The healer was dead before the fight even really began. My tactical plan was working perfectly without a flaw. The knight stood up and wiped blood from his pale face. He saw his party being destroyed by my smart, wild army. He realized he made a huge mistake coming to this wood. He looked at me with pure, absolute terror in his eyes. I walked toward him slowly with my 3 heads high. I wanted him to feel the exact same fear I felt before. I wanted him to know that humans are not the true gods. I am the demon king, and this forest belongs to me now. The golden light in the sky faded away into the dark. The moon shone brightly on my thick black iron armor. I raised my heavy right paw to deliver the final blow. But the system screen flashed with a new epic warning. A massive holy dragon was flying down from the clouds. The true boss of the human holy church had arrived now. The massive holy dragon landed on the cold, hard dirt. It folded its bright white wings with a loud thunder. The human knight laughed from the bloody, dirty ground. He knew his powerful church master had finally come. I glared at the shiny dragon with my 6 angry eyes. My middle head breathed a thick cloud of freezing ice. The dragon ignored my magic and opened its huge jaws. A blinding yellow light gathered in its deep throat. The system screen flashed red with a deadly warning. It told me to run away from the holy fire right now, but I could not leave my loyal army in this bad spot. Tank the brown bear stood beside me and roared loud. Luna the silver fox readied her bright healing spell. The dragon unleashed a massive wave of pure, holy fire. The golden flames hit our thick gray stone camp wall. The heavy rocks melted like soft butter in a hot pan. I jumped in front of Luna to shield her from the heat. My dark iron armor glowed red and burned my deep skin. The holy fire was much stronger than my own red flame. I felt the exact same pain from my old sad human life. I was just a tiny bug being crushed by a giant boot. The blast threw me backward into the dark, wild woods. I crashed through 3 large oak trees very violently. My heavy body hit the cold mud, and I coughed up blood. The world spun around me in a blurry, dark red circle. I tried to stand up, but my 4 legs were totally numb. The dragon roared again and shook the entire mountain. I heard the painful cries of my loyal dark wolf pack. The human knight cheered for his giant flying savior. The holy beast grabbed the knight with its sharp claws. It picked up the blue mage and the scared human archer. The dragon did not care about the dead, bald, fat priest. It flapped its huge white wings and flew into the sky. They left my beautiful new home in absolute total ruin. The golden fire continued to burn my thick stone camp. My vision faded to black, and I lost all my hard senses. I woke up to the smell of burning wood and dead flesh. The bright morning sun hurt my 6 tired, heavy eyes. My dark iron armor was cracked and leaking dark blood. I slowly lifted my middle head to look at the damage. The stone wall I built with Tank was completely gone. Only a pile of black ash remained in the dirty clear. I felt a crushing weight on my soul and my heavy heart. This was my first real defeat in this cruel new world. The system screen popped up with a very sad message. I lost 20 loyal wolves in the giant dragon attack. The other 30 wolves were badly hurt and very weak. I looked around the ruined camp for my 2 best friends. A massive pile of burned logs moved in the dark corner. Tank, the brown bear, pushed the heavy wood off his back. His thick brown fur was burned and his left arm broken. He let out a very weak, sad grunt and fell to the dirt. I tried to walk to him, but my right leg snapped loud. I collapsed in the cold ash and let out a painful cry. My poison head was completely dry and could not spit. My fire head was cold, and my ice head was boiling hot. The holy magic had scrambled my 3 rare magic cores. I felt like a useless failure, just like in my past life. My old human boss used to steal my work and laugh loud. Now the Holy Church stole my home and killed my pack. I wanted to close my eyes and just give up right now. But then I felt a soft, warm touch on my bleeding neck. Luna the silver fox limped over to my broken, huge body. Her beautiful, glowing fur was covered in black, dark soot. She had a deep, nasty cut on her right silver back leg. She did not care about her own pain or her deep wounds. She pressed her small head against my cold iron snout. A bright silver light flowed from her body into mine. She was using her ultimate hidden healing magic skill. The system warned me that she was using her life force. I tried to push her away to save her beautiful, pure life. But my heavy body would not move an inch in the dirt. Luna looked into my eyes with absolute, pure, true love. She barked softly and told me to accept her magic gift. She believed in me when I was just a tiny, ugly loser. She still believes in me even when I am totally broken. The silver magic entered my veins and fixed my bones. My dark iron armor sealed its huge cracks very quickly. My 3 magic cores stabilized and started to spin fast. I felt my massive strength returning to my huge muscles. Luna finished her spell and collapsed in the cold ash. I jumped up and caught her small body with my big paw. She was breathing very slowly and her eyes were closed. The system showed her health bar was dangerously empty. I felt a burning rage ignite inside my dark, heavy soul. The holy dragon will pay for hurting my precious queen. I will tear its white wings off and eat its huge heart. I placed Luna on a soft patch of green, clean, dry grass. I ordered the surviving wolves to guard her with care. I walked over to the dead fat priest in the dirty mud. His body was still full of high-level holy magic power. The system told me I could absorb his rare golden core. I opened my giant jaws and swallowed him entirely whole. A massive wave of pure energy exploded inside my chest. The holy magic fought against my dark demon wild blood. I roared in absolute agony as my body started to change. My muscles tore apart and rebuilt themselves much bigger. My 3 heads grew massive, sharp-twisted demon horns. My black iron armor turned into a dark, shiny, thick ruby. The system screen shattered and reformed in a red hue. I had reached level 20 and unlocked my final form. I am now an ancient chaos Cerberus of the dark abyss. My poison, fire, and ice magic fused into chaos energy. I can now shoot beams of pure dark destruction magic. I walked over to Tank and used my new chaos dark heal. A red light covered his broken arm and fixed the bone. The giant bear stood up and roared with massive power. His brown fur turned into a thick black steel hard coat. He evolved into a dark iron war bear of the deep woods. I healed the 30 wolves, and they grew much bigger. They became shadow wolves with glowing red sharp eyes. My army was smaller, but it was 100 times stronger. We were no longer wild beasts hiding in a simple camp. We are a true demon legion ready to conquer the world. I walked back to Luna and gave her my dark chaos magic. Her silver fur absorbed the red light and turned black. She woke up and opened her beautiful, bright, shiny eyes. She evolved into a rare lunar shadow fox of the night. She stood up and rubbed her soft head against my leg. I told her my plan to kill the giant holy white dragon. We cannot fight the beast in the open, bright blue sky. We need to lure it into a deep, dark, underground cavern. There is a massive dead volcano in the high gray peaks. The cave is filled with explosive, toxic red gas clouds. If the dragon breathes holy fire inside the dark cave, the mountain will explode and crush its heavy big bones. I ordered my shadow wolves to hunt the fat wild boars. We needed a lot of raw meat to feed my growing hunger. Tank started to gather heavy rocks for my big new trap. Luna used her shadow magic to scout the mountain path. I sat in the ruined camp and focused on my chaos cores. I needed to master my new magic before the final fight. I fired a dark beam at a giant oak tree in the forest. The tree instantly turned into fine gray floating dust. The destructive power was absolutely totally terrifying. I laughed a deep dark laugh that shook the cold ground. The human church thought they could just wipe me away. They thought I was a bug they could crush very easily. They woke up a sleeping god of pure, absolute dark ruin. We spent 3 long days preparing the massive volcano. Tank blocked all the small exits with very heavy rocks. The toxic gas gathered in the main, huge center chamber. I used my poison head to add my own deadly green venom. The air in the cave became highly explosive and deadly. Luna placed shadow runes on the walls to hide my scent. We needed the dragon to enter the cave without a worry. I stood on top of the mountain and looked at the sky. The human capital city was located far in the wide east. I gathered all my chaos magic into my 3 huge heads. I let out a massive dark roar that echoed for 10 miles. I projected my dark aura directly at the huge human city. I challenged the holy dragon to a final deadly dark duel. The system screen flashed with a bright golden text box. The Holy Church accepted my arrogant, dark, wild challenge. The final boss battle will begin in exactly 1 hour. I walked down into the dark cave and waited in the back. Tank hid behind a massive stone pillar on the left wall. Luna and the wolves hid in the shadows on the right side. The air was thick and heavy with my toxic green dark gas. I remembered my old human life one last very quick time. I was a nobody who died a sad death in the cold, wet rain. Now I am the absolute master of my own dark, wild destiny. I will show the humans the true meaning of deep, dark fear. The ground began to shake as the giant dragon flew near. I heard the heavy flap of its massive, bright, huge wings. The human knight was riding on the back of the huge beast. He shouted loudly and ordered the dragon to kill me now. The giant white head peeked into the dark volcano cave. Its glowing yellow eyes locked onto my big, dark red body. It did not sense the deadly toxic gas filling the big cave. It only saw a dumb demon waiting to be burned to dark ash. The holy dragon opened its jaws and stepped in the trap. The knight laughed and pointed his shiny sword at me. He thought this would be a very easy and quick victory. I looked at him and felt a deep pity for his dumb soul. He was just a blind fool serving a very corrupt church. I stood perfectly still and waited for the right moment. The dragon took another heavy step into the dark cavern. The sharp rocks crunched under its massive white claws. The knight yelled insults at my 3 scary demon heads. He called me a dirty mistake of the pure, holy big world. I did not answer his dumb words with any angry big roar. I just let my dark chaos magic build up inside my chest. The system screen showed the dragon was level 40 now. It was twice my level, but I had the ultimate smart trap. I remembered playing games in my old boring human life. I always beat the hard bosses by using the terrain well. This world is no different from those old digital games. You just need to find the weak spot and hit it very hard. The dragon inhaled deeply to unleash its holy pure fire. Its chest glowed with a blinding yellow pure holy light. I sent a silent mind command to Tank the dark iron bear. Tank pushed the massive stone pillar with all his might. The heavy pillar fell forward and smashed the cave exit. A huge pile of gray rocks blocked the only exit to flee. The dragon turned its long neck in sudden, absolute panic. It realized it was trapped in the dark mountain with me. The knight stopped laughing and dropped his shiny shield. He looked at the blocked door and his face turned pale. I stepped out of the shadows and let my red aura shine. My 3 heads opened their jaws and gathered chaos dark. I shot a beam of pure black magic directly at the beast. The beam hit the dragon on its massive pure white chest. The holy scales cracked and leaked glowing golden blood. The dragon roared in pure agony and lost its deep focus. The holy fire in its throat misfired and exploded badly. A huge wave of yellow flame shot out of its huge mouth. The fire hit the toxic green gas filling the entire cave. The chemical reaction was instant and absolutely massive. A giant red explosion ripped through the dark stone room. The shockwave threw the human knight off the huge beast. He crashed into the hard wall and broke his heavy bones. The explosion burned the dragon and melted its big wings. I used my chaos shield to protect my own loyal dark army. A thick black bubble covered me and Luna and the wolves. The red flames washed over us but did not hurt us at all. The mountain shook violently and huge rocks fell down now. The dragon was crushed by a massive falling stone block. It lay on the ground and whined like a dying little pup. The great holy beast was completely broken and defeated. I dropped my dark shield and walked through the hot fire. The air smelled like burnt meat and melted holy iron ore. I approached the human knight lying in the dirty hot ash. He was coughing up blood and crying for his fake god now. I placed my heavy ruby paw on his broken, shiny big chest. I looked down at him with my cold and glowing dark eyes. You came to my home and destroyed everything I built up. You hurt my friends and forced me to become a true devil. Now you will pay the ultimate price for your dumb pride. The knight begged for mercy, but I did not care right now. I bit his head off with my middle jaw and swallowed fast. The system gave me a huge amount of sweet bonus points. I turned my attention to the dying giant, holy big dragon. It looked at me with pure hate and tried to bite my legs. I easily dodged its weak attack and pinned its long neck. I used my chaos magic to drain its holy life force away. The white scales turned black and fell off its huge body. Its golden blood flowed into my mouth and fed my red core. The system screen exploded with 1,000,000 golden sparks. I gained 10 whole levels and reached the level 30. My Chaos Cerberus form was now fully complete and strong. The dragon turned into gray dust in the dark, hot cave. I let out a victorious roar that shattered the cave roof. The bright sunlight poured into the dark underground hole. Luna ran up to me and licked my bloody, heavy iron snout. Her shadow fox form was incredibly beautiful and so fast. Tank beat his dark steel chest and roared at the blue sky. The shadow wolves howled in perfect unison with the bear. We had defeated the strongest weapon of the human church, but I knew this was only the start of a much bigger war. The human king will send his entire army to hunt me down. They will not rest until my heads are on a sharp big pike. I looked at my loyal army and felt a deep sense of pride. We will not hide in the dark woods like scared, sad beasts. We will march to the human city and burn it to the ground. I will show them the true power of a reborn demon king. I opened my system menu to check my final huge rewards. I received a legendary item called the Dark Chaos Crown. I equipped the crown and felt a huge surge of pure mana. A glowing red halo appeared right above my 3 big heads. My stats were now completely broken and beyond any limit. I could destroy a whole mountain with a single dark blast. I looked at Luna and told her she is my true Dark Queen. She bowed her head and promised to follow me to the end. Tank grabbed the shiny sword of the dead human Big Knight. He will use it as a toothpick after his next bloody meal. I ordered the wolves to gather the remaining holy gear. We will melt the silver armor to make weapons for my pack. The journey from a pathetic loser to a god is now done. I walked out of the ruined volcano and looked at the land. The green forest below was peaceful and totally quiet now, but the human lands in the east were loud and very corrupt. I will bring my dark chaos and cleanse their greedy souls. I am the 3-headed beast of absolute pure destruction. My name will be feared in every single human bad village. I took a deep breath of the fresh, cool, clean, big, wild air. My past life feels like a distant and blurry dark dream. I do not miss the tiny desk or the boring daily commute. I do not miss the fake smiles of my old greedy coworkers. This brutal magic world is much more honest and very fair. If you are strong, you live, and if you are weak, you die. I have the power to protect the ones who truly love me. Luna walked beside me, and her shadow aura mixed with mine. We are the perfect rulers of this new dark rising empire. The system gave me a new quest to conquer the human realm. The reward is a skill that can revive the dead as shadows. I will build an immortal army and rule for 1,000,000 days. I looked back at the ruined cave and smiled a dark smile. The Holy Church made a fatal mistake by attacking my home. They woke up the sleeping beast, and now they will bleed. I raised my right paw and pointed it toward the human town. My Dark Legion marched forward with absolute pure unity. The ground shook with every step of our massive big feet. The final war for the fate of this entire world has begun. We marched through the dense forest for 3 whole days. The shadow wolves hunted deer and brought the meat to me. I ate the raw flesh and felt my chaos magic grow very big. Tank carried the heavy silver armor pieces on his big back. Luna walked by my side and kept a sharp eye on the dark. We reached the edge of the woods and saw the wide plains. A massive human fortress stood blocking the only big road. It was made of white stone and had tall towers with flags. This was the final border before the human capital city. The system screen popped up and gave me a new battle map. The fort had 500 heavily armed human pure guards. They had massive magic cannons mounted on the thick walls. A direct assault would be very bloody and cost many lives. I needed a smart plan to break their strong defense lines. I called my loyal commanders for a secret war council. We sat in a dark cave near the edge of the human borders. I drew a map in the dirt using my sharp, heavy ruby claws. Luna suggested we use the shadow wolves for a night raid. They can sneak past the guards and open the main big gate. Tank grunted and pointed at the massive white stone walls. He wanted to smash them with his pure dark iron big force. I smiled and combined both of their very smart, wild ideas. I will use my chaos magic to create a massive dark fog. The fog will blind the human guards and rust their weapons. Luna will lead the wolves to silently kill the door guards. Tank will charge the gate and smash it into tiny pieces. I will wait in the back and destroy any huge magic spells. The plan was absolutely perfect and ready to be executed. We waited for the sun to set and the dark night to arrive. I looked at the stars and felt a strange sense of calm. I was no longer afraid of failure or pain or sudden death. I am a chaos Cerberus, and I hold the power of true ruin. The night fell, and a cold wind blew on the dark plains. I activated my chaos core and breathed a thick, dark cloud. The dark fog rolled over the grass and hid the human fort. I heard the confused shouts of the blind human pure guards. Luna gave a silent signal and the shadow wolves ran fast. They moved like ghosts and climbed the white stone walls. The human guards did not even see the fatal bites coming. Blood spilled in the dark and the main gate was left open. Tank roared and charged at the heavy wooden iron big door. He swung his massive steel paw and smashed the thick wood. The gate exploded into splinters and we entered the fort. The human boss ran out of his tent with a shiny big sword. He saw my 3 huge heads and dropped his weapon in fear. I did not kill him because I needed him to send a message. I walked up to him and looked into his scared blue eyes. "Tell your weak king that the Demon King is coming for him. Tell him to gather his best heroes for the final big war. I will give him exactly 3 days to prepare his defense. If he surrenders, I will spare the innocent human children. If he fights, I will turn his entire kingdom into dark ash." The scared boss nodded wildly and ran away into the fog. We took over the fort and claimed all their food supplies. My army rested and feasted on the big human food supplies. I sat on the highest tower and looked toward the huge city. The final battle is coming and I am completely ready now. I will burn the past and forge a new future with my magic. The world will know the true power of my dark chaos soul. The first day of waiting was very quiet and totally boring. The human fort was large and had many empty stone rooms. Luna found a soft bed in the main, huge commander quarters. She curled up and slept happily for the entire long day. I watched her sleep and felt a warm glow in my chaos core. She deserves the best life after all the pain she endured. I will build her a huge palace made of pure bright silver. Tank spent his time breaking the remaining human cannons. He loved the sound of crushing heavy metal with his hands. The shadow wolves patrolled the tall walls without a rest. They were loyal machines of war, driven by my dark magic. I opened my system menu to review my final big base stats. My health points were over 1 million and still growing. My mana pool was infinite thanks to the Dark Chaos Crown. My physical defense was higher than a solid mountain peak. I was a walking apocalypse waiting to be unleashed fully. The second day brought a massive heavy rain and cold wind. The dark clouds covered the sun and made the sky look sad. I stood outside and let the cold rain wash my huge body. The water hissed and turned to steam on my hot ruby skin. I practiced my new chaos magic skills in the empty yard. I summoned a dark portal that could teleport me instantly. This will be very useful to bypass the human city walls. I also learned how to create small explosive dark clones. They look exactly like me and explode when hit by swords. Luna woke up and joined me in the cold, wet, dark courtyard. She showed me her new shadow magic ultimate hidden skill. She could turn invisible and walk right through the walls. She will be the perfect assassin to kill the human king. We sparred for a few hours to test our new team synergy. She was so fast that even my 6 eyes could not track her. But my chaos aura protected me from her sharp, dark claws. We were perfectly matched and helped each other very well. The third day arrived with a bright and clear sunny sky. The storm had passed and the air smelled fresh and clean. I walked to the front gate and looked down the main road. A massive human army was marching toward our stolen fort. There were at least 10,000 soldiers in shiny armor. They carried huge banners with the golden church symbol. The human king was riding in a big, heavy golden chariot. He was surrounded by 50 elite knights on white horses. They brought dozens of heavy magic siege guns with them. They thought they could win with sheer massive numbers. I smiled and felt my 3 chaos cores spin very rapidly. I turned to my loyal pack and gave my final grand speech. We have trained for this exact moment since the very dawn. We will not show any mercy to these cruel and greedy men. We will crush their bones and drink their warm red blood. We will tear down their fake god and build a dark empire. Tank roared and smashed his steel fists into the dry dirt. Luna howled and her shadow aura covered the big gray fort. The shadow wolves growled and bared their sharp big fangs. I stepped out of the broken gate and faced the huge army. The human king raised his hand and the big army stopped. He pointed his golden sword at my huge 3-headed body. He ordered his cannons to fire a massive volley of magic. The sky lit up with hundreds of glowing bright blue shots. I did not dodge or summon my shield to block the attack. I simply opened my middle head and breathed a chaos beam. The dark beam swept across the sky and erased the magic. The blue spells vanished like smoke in a strong, cold wind. The human army gasped in absolute shock and pure, dark fear. They realized their best weapons were completely useless. I let out a roar that broke the glass in their chariot. The final battle has begun, and I will be the only winner. I charged forward like a massive, dark, heavy, huge mountain. The ground shook under my heavy, dark iron big paws. I crashed into the front line of the scared humans. My massive body crushed their shiny silver shields. The soldiers screamed and dropped their long spears. I swung my right head and bit a knight in half now. The taste of his blood fueled my dark chaos magic. Tank, the big war bear, charged right behind my back. He jumped into the air and smashed a heavy cannon. The magic gun exploded and killed 10 bad soldiers. Luna faded into the dark shadows like a fast ghost. She appeared behind a general and cut his weak neck. The human army was falling apart in just 1 minute. I remembered my old life working in a boring office. My fat boss used to yell at me for being very slow. Now I am the fastest beast in this entire wide world. I laughed a deep, dark laugh that froze their hearts. My left head spat a huge pool of toxic green poison. The acid melted their armor and burned their flesh. They cried for their fake god, but nobody came down. The human king watched his army die from his chariot. His face turned completely pale, and his hands shook. He ordered his 50 elite knights to attack me now. The knights rode their white horses with shiny lances. They thought they could pierce my thick ruby plates. I did not even try to dodge their weak metal weapons. The lances hit my chest and shattered into tiny bits. The knights gasped in absolute shock and pure terror. I used my new magic to create 5 dark, scary clones. The clones looked exactly like my huge demon body. They ran toward the knights and exploded very loudly. The dark blast threw the white horses into the dirt. The elite guards were broken and bleeding in the mud. I used my portal skill to teleport behind the lines. I appeared right next to the golden royal chariot. The human king screamed and fell back in his tall seat. He pulled out a glowing blue gem from his silk robe. This was a rare holy artifact from the ancient times. The gem flashed and shot a beam of pure bright light. The light hit my chest and burned my dark chaos core. I felt a terrible pain that made me drop to my knees. My 3 heads roared in pure absolute dark agony. The holy magic acted like a heavy chain on my soul. I could not move my heavy legs or use my huge magic. The king stood up and laughed a very arrogant laugh. He thought he had finally defeated the demon monster. He grabbed his shiny sword and walked toward my face. He wanted to cut off my middle head for a big trophy. I remembered how my human boss stole my best ideas. The world is always rigged against the honest folks. The rich and powerful always use dirty hidden tricks. But I am no longer a lonely human without any friends. I built a loyal empire that will fight for my life. Luna jumped out of the shadows behind the dumb king. She used her sharp black claws to slash his right arm. The king yelled in pain and dropped the glowing gem. Tank ran forward and crushed the gem with his huge paw. The holy light vanished, and my dark magic returned. I stood up and towered over the pathetic human ruler. My wounds healed instantly, thanks to my high stats. The king held his bleeding arm and backed away fast. He tripped over a dead knight and fell in the dirty mud. His golden crown rolled away into a puddle of blood. I stepped forward and placed my paw on his weak chest. My shadow wolves surrounded the rest of the bad army. The human soldiers dropped their swords and gave up. They saw their absolute ruler crying like a tiny baby. I looked down at the king and smiled with 3 heads. You thought you could bind me with a cheap magic toy. You thought you were the true master of this world, but you are just a weak parasite living off the poor. I spoke loud enough for his entire army to hear me. I wanted to completely destroy his royal fake pride. Look at your great king begging a wild dog for mercy. He sends you to die while he hides behind magic gems. He taxes your towns and steals your hard-earned gold. He does not care about your lives or your small kids. The soldiers looked at the king with absolute disgust. They realized they were fighting for a total coward. The king cried and offered me all his shiny gold coins. He promised to make me a noble lord in his huge city. I laughed so hard that the dark clouds shook above us. I do not want your dirty money or your fake titles. I am the Chaos Cerberus, and I take what I truly want. I opened my huge middle jaw and bit his head clean off. I swallowed his head and felt a massive power surge. The system screen exploded with bright golden letters. I gained 50 levels and reached the absolute cap. My body grew even larger, and my armor turned to diamond. I unlocked the final skill called the Shadow Empire. I can now turn dead enemies into loyal shadow guards. I used the skill on the dead elite knights right away. Their bodies melted and turned into pure dark smoke. They stood up as silent shadow warriors bound to me. The human soldiers fell to their knees in pure awe. They swore absolute loyalty to their new demon king. I did not kill them because an empire needs workers. I ordered them to march back to their huge capital. We will take over the city without shedding more blood. Tank picked up the golden chariot and broke it in half. Luna walked to my side and rubbed her head on my leg. She looked at my new diamond armor and smiled gently. I nudged her soft ears with my warm, living right head. We won the final war and secured our dark, wild home. I let out a massive roar to claim my new huge territory. The shadow wolves howled and the dark bears grunted. The human army marched in front of us as our slaves. We walked for 2 days and reached the massive city. The city gates were open and the people were hiding. They heard about the death of their bad, greedy king. They knew the demon Cerberus was coming to rule them. I walked through the wide streets with heavy big steps. The stone roads cracked under my massive diamond paws. We reached the royal palace in the center of the town. It was a huge building made of white marble and gold. I smashed the front doors and entered the throne room. The throne was too small for my giant monster body. I used my chaos magic to melt the golden heavy chair. I shaped it into a massive dark bed for me and Luna. I lay down on the gold and rested my 3 tired heads. Luna curled up next to my warm chest and closed eyes. Tank stood guard at the broken doors with his big club. The system screen gave me a new title of Supreme Ruler. I finally achieved my dream of absolute, total safety. I am no longer the pathetic loser from the human world. I am no longer the ugly two-headed pup in the dirty mud. I am the god of this world, and nobody can stop me now. But the system screen did not vanish from my vision. It flashed with a new dark red warning message block. The Holy Church was just a small part of a big group. There are real angels living in the high sky kingdom. They felt the death of the holy dragon and the king. They are preparing a holy crusade to wipe me out soon. I read the message and felt a dark smile on my faces. I was getting bored of fighting weak human soldiers. If the angels want a war, I will give them a bloodbath. I will tear off their white wings and eat their halos. I closed my eyes and let my chaos magic slowly build. The Shadow Empire will rise and conquer the high heavens. My journey as the Demon King has only just truly begun. I felt the pure energy flowing through my giant veins. The entire city outside was completely quiet and still. They were waiting for my first absolute royal command. I sent my shadow wolves to guard the tall city walls. Nobody will enter or leave without my pure permission. I looked at Tank and told him to rest his heavy bones. He sat down and started to chew on a giant roasted pig. He earned his big meal after smashing the human army. Luna opened her bright eyes and looked at the ceiling. The palace was decorated with very ugly human paintings. I shot a small fireball and burned them all to dark ash. I will redecorate this place to fit my dark demon style. The system showed my total empire population was huge. I had thousands of human slaves and dark shadow beasts. I will make the humans build a giant wall of black iron. They will work hard to protect my true monster family. I remembered my old apartment in the rainy human city. It was small and cold and smelled like old dirty trash. Now I live in a palace made of pure gold and white stone. The contrast between my two lives is absolutely insane. I was a 0, and now I am the absolute maximum level god. I stretched my 3 long necks and yawned very loudly. The sound echoed through the massive, empty throne room. I am ready to face the angels when they finally arrive. I will show them the true meaning of pure, dark despair. I closed my eyes and drifted into a very deep, dark sleep. The future is mine to shape with my sharp, bloody claws. I woke from my deep sleep in the big golden room. The morning sun shone through the tall glass windows. Luna was still resting softly against my warm, big side. Tank snored loudly near the broken, heavy wooden doors. I stretched my 3 long necks and yawned very loud. My diamond armor clicked and shined in the bright sun. The system screen hovered in front of my 6 red eyes. It showed the exact status of my brand new, huge empire. The human citizens were terrified of my shadow beasts. They stayed locked inside their tiny cold stone houses. I needed to show them I am a fair and very smart ruler. My old human boss was a tyrant who hated his workers. I will not make the exact same dumb mistakes he made. A strong empire needs loyal and healthy human workers. I stood up and shook the sleep from my massive body. The marble floor cracked under my heavy diamond paws. Luna opened her bright silver eyes and looked at me. She wagged her black tail and licked my middle snout. I told her we have a lot of important work to do now. She nodded her head and stood up on her 4 dark paws. We walked out of the ruined throne room very slowly. Tank woke up and followed us with his giant iron club. The huge palace hallways were completely, totally empty. The servants ran away when we killed the stupid king. I did not care because I have my loyal shadow guards. We reached the balcony overlooking the big city square. Thousands of scared humans were gathered down below us. My shadow wolves surrounded them in a tight, big circle. The people looked up at my 3 heads and cried loud. They expected me to eat them all for a quick breakfast. I used my chaos magic to amplify my deep, booming voice. I told them their cruel, greedy king is completely dead. I am your new supreme ruler, and you will obey my laws. I will not tax you or steal your hard-earned gold now. I only demand your absolute loyalty and your hard work. You will build a massive black iron wall for this city. If you work hard, I will protect you from the monsters. If you betray me, my shadow wolves will eat your bones." The humans stopped crying and looked at me with big awe. They never had a ruler who promised to keep them safe. The old king only cared about his shiny gold treasures. A brave young man stepped forward from the large crowd. He bowed his head and swore his life to the demon king. The rest of the crowd quickly followed his smart lead. They fell to their knees and praised my massive power. The system screen flashed with a bright golden light. I gained 1,000,000 loyalty points from the city humans. My empire level grew and unlocked a powerful new skill. I can now summon dark iron golems to do the hard work. This will make building the giant wall much faster now. I ordered the humans to gather all the metal in town. They ran to obey my words with absolute pure devotion. I went back inside the palace to plan my next big move. The angels from the high sky kingdom are coming for me. They are arrogant and think they own this entire world. I will show them that the dark abyss is much stronger. I opened my system menu to check my dark chaos crown. The legendary item was glowing with a deep red aura. It gave me the power to absorb holy magic very easily. This will be the perfect counter to the angel attacks. I called Luna and Tank to the center of the big room. I needed to upgrade their stats before the angels come. I shared my infinite chaos mana with my 2 loyal pets. Luna absorbed the dark energy and grew a second tail. Her shadow magic became twice as fast and very deadly. Tank grew taller and his dark steel armor became thick. He looked like an unstoppable walking mountain of doom. We were the ultimate trinity of pure, total destruction. Suddenly, the sky outside turned a blinding, pure white. A loud trumpet sound echoed across the entire big city. The system screen flashed red with a critical warning. A holy messenger from the Sky Kingdom has just arrived. I smiled with my 3 heads and walked to the balcony. A giant man with 6 white wings floated in the big sky. He wore shiny gold armor and held a flaming holy sword. He looked down at my city with absolute pure disgust. He spoke with a voice that sounded like a loud thunder. "You are a filthy demon mistake that must be erased now. The holy gods demand your immediate absolute surrender. Bow your 3 ugly heads and accept your divine death." I remembered my old human boss talking to me like that. He thought he was a god because he had a big warm desk. I hated arrogant fools who looked down on the weak men. I am the Chaos Cerberus, and I bow to absolutely nobody. I used my portal skill to teleport right behind the man. The angel did not even see my massive dark body moving. I bit his left wing with my middle head and pulled it. The white feathers tore away with a very loud big snap. The holy messenger screamed in pure, sudden, deep agony. He dropped his flaming sword and fell to the hard dirt. He crashed into the city square, making a huge big hole. I floated down slowly using my dark chaos magic powers. The humans watched the fallen angel with absolute fear. They prayed to these winged beings every single day now. Now they saw their fake god bleeding in the dirty mud. The angel tried to stand up, but his spine was broken. He looked at me with a mix of deep fear and pure hate. "You cannot defeat the holy army of the bright high sky. They will come and burn your entire dark empire to ash." I stepped on his chest with my heavy diamond right paw. I leaned down and whispered into his bleeding human ear. "Tell your gods I will come to eat their bright souls." I used my poison head to spit acid on his shiny armor. The poison melted his armor and burned his soft skin. He screamed again and begged me to stop the huge pain. I let him live because I needed him to run away fast. A smart king always sends a message to his bad enemies. I lifted my paw and let him crawl away like a sad bug. He used a holy teleport scroll and vanished in a flash. The human crowd cheered wildly for my epic big victory. They realized I was much stronger than the Sky Angels. I turned to the humans and gave them a new royal order. We must prepare for the biggest war in this big world. I summoned 50 dark iron golems from the cold ground. They were massive beasts made of pure black heavy ore. I told the humans to work with the golems every day. They started building the massive black iron city wall. I went back to the palace to check my new system stats. My Chaos Crown absorbed the holy magic from the angel. I unlocked a new skill called the Total Dark Eclipse. It allows me to block the sun and make the sky go dark. The angels draw their pure power from the bright sun. Without the sun, they will be as weak as tiny, sad pups. My tactical human brain was working perfectly today. I remembered playing strategy games in my old sad room. You always need to cut off the enemy supply lines now. Luna walked into the room and sat right next to my leg. Her two shadow tails waved slowly in the calm, cool air. She looked at me with absolute pure devotion and love. I told her she will lead the shadow wolves in the war. She barked happily and rubbed her soft nose on my jaw. Tank entered the room carrying a huge, dark metal sword. He took it from the dead human king and made it larger. He swung the sword and broke a thick marble big pillar. He was ready to smash some fragile little angel bones. I looked out the window at my growing, dark, huge empire. The black iron wall was rising fast around the big city. The humans were singing songs about their demon savior. They finally had a ruler who actually cared about them. I felt a deep sense of pride in my 3 dark hearts. I am no longer the pathetic loser who died in the rain. I am the supreme Chaos Cerberus, and I rule this world. The next few days were spent preparing for the big war. I created thousands of deadly magic traps in the grass. I filled deep pits with my toxic green acid and spikes. I placed explosive fire runes on the tall stone